Imagine you're walking down a busy city street. A bright red sports car roars past. The engine growls, heads turn, and for a moment, everyone watches. Now imagine you're the person driving that car. As you glance at the people on the sidewalk, what do you think they're thinking about you? If you're like most people, you imagine they're thinking, wow, that person is cool. That person has made it. I wish I was that successful. But here's the twist. They're not thinking that at all. They're not even thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves, specifically what they would look like driving that car. This is what Morgan Housel calls the man in the car paradox, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. The truth is, nobody is as impressed by your possessions as you think they are, and if you're spending money to impress others, you're playing a game where the points don't count. There's a universal human desire to signal status. It's wired into us. Thousands of years ago, status was survival. If you were respected in the tribe, you ate better, you were safer, and you had more offspring. Today, the threats have changed, but the wiring hasn't. So we buy things we think will make us look successful. The designer handbag, the luxury watch, the sports car. We imagine these items will broadcast a message, I am important, I have arrived. But the audience we're broadcasting to isn't receiving that message. They're receiving a completely different one. Morgan Housel puts it bluntly in The Psychology of Money. When you see someone driving a nice car, you rarely think, wow, that guy's cool. Instead, you think, wow, I'd look cool driving that car. You use their car as fuel for your own fantasy. You don't admire the driver, you imagine yourself as the driver. This means the expensive car purchased to generate admiration has failed. The driver spent a fortune to impress people who didn't notice him, only the car. And if he sold the car tomorrow, he'd be invisible again. The status was never his, it was rented. This paradox produces a tragic irony. We spend money we don't have to buy things we don't need to impress people who aren't even looking at us. And the people we are trying to impress us are busy doing the exact same thing. They're driving their nice cars past us while we're thinking about ourselves. The psychology here is brutal because it reveals that status consumption is a mirage. The admiration you crave never arrives. You might get a glance, you might get a bit of envy, but you won't get genuine respect. Because respect comes from character, competence, and kindness, not chrome and leather. Here's the part that should make you pause. The people's respect you actually want, the ones whose opinions truly matter, are usually the least impressed by flashy cars. A truly successful person doesn't need to announce their wealth. The richest person in the room rarely looks like the richest person in the room. They drive a 10-year-old Toyota, while their net worth compounds quietly in index funds, and they feel absolutely zero need to prove anything to anyone. The man in the car paradox reveals a deeper truth about wealth. Wealth is the money you don't spend. That's it. Every dollar you spend on a status symbol is a dollar that isn't working for you. It's not compounding. It's not buying your freedom. It's simply performing a play for an audience that isn't watching. The opposite of this is true wealth. True wealth is invisible. It's the financial cushion that lets you quit a toxic job. It's the ability to handle an emergency without panic. It's the freedom to take a lower paying but more meaningful position because your expenses are low and your investments are high. A $100,000 sports car is a liability parked in a garage. $100,000 in an index fund is a quiet army working for you while you sleep. Nobody sees it, nobody's impressed, and that's exactly the point. So how do you stop playing the status game and start building real wealth? Here are 3 practical shifts. First, before you make a big purchase, ask yourself this question. Am I buying this because I genuinely need it or love it, or because I want other people to see me with it? If the honest answer is the second, consider putting the money into an investment instead. You can always buy the thing later. You can't get lost compounding years back. Second, redefine what status means to you. What if status wasn't about what you owned, but about how much freedom you had? What if the flex wasn't a new car, but the ability to take a month off work without financial stress? That's a flex that actually improves your life. Third, notice who you actually respect. Think of 3 people you genuinely admire. Do you admire them because of their cars? Probably not. You admire them because of how they treat people, how they handle adversity, the skills they built, the integrity they show. No purchase can replicate that. Let me leave you with one final image. Picture a parking lot filled with luxury cars, 100 beautiful machines gleaming under the lights. Now look closely at the people around them. Everyone's checking out the car, sure, but nobody is checking out the drivers. The drivers are invisible. Their money bought something shiny, but it didn't buy what they really wanted. Now picture someone who drives a modest car, lives in a modest home, but has a brokerage account that's been compounding quietly for 20 years. They can walk away from any job. They can handle any emergency. They sleep deeply at night. Nobody on the street notices them, and they are completely, quietly, powerfully free. So the question is, whose parking lot do you want to be standing in?